Earthlings by Sayaka Murata might be my favorite of all the books I've read this year. It's dark literary fiction with a weird speculative edge. I went in blind and I'm really happy I did. So if you haven't read it and you want that experience, by all means stop watching right now. But if you want my thoughts, by all means continue. Trigger warning for child sexual abuse. The story follows Natsuki, a young girl who feels she doesn't quite fit in. On an annual family visit, her cousin Yu confides that he feels the same way, and he believes himself to be an alien. Natsuki agrees with the sentiment, deciding that she too must be from an alien planet, a planet called Papin Papapia. The two agree to become a couple, eventually deciding to look for the spaceship that brought them to Earth when they next meet up. This eventually leads to an incident which causes the family to keep them separated from one another, leading to a long period of separation for them. During this separation, young Natsuki feels increasingly out of place with her society, which she equates to a factory. The factory has its parts, people, and they are meant to grow up, pair up, and create babies to perpetuate the factory. Natsuki feels no desire to do this, and her sentiments are aided by manipulative, abusive incidents with a teacher. She's more or less totally put off the whole sex thing. The second half of the book follows Natsuki as an adult, navigating the factory and trying her best to appear as though she fits in. Eventually, her husband, who is more like a roommate and feels the same way about love and sex as she does, also decides he must be an alien, and they meet up with cousin Yu at the old family house. Without getting too in-depth or spoiling anything, the plot and execution both get pretty out there in the best possible ways. Reality starts getting fuzzy as the trio decide to start living as aliens rather than as humans. The narration becomes less and less reliable, leading to a dreamlike feel with its own internal logic. Though written from the point of view of a Japanese citizen and set in Japan, the themes of being a cog in a machine can still relate to a Western reader, though it's clear that these societal norms are way more strict in the Far East. I enjoyed the large swaths of gray in this story, the way it toys with morality and gives very few clear stances on anything. Total freedom is both lovely and dangerous. What I loved most about this story was the way Natsuki desperately wants to be normal, to conform to what she thinks she's supposed to be, but she can't. She tries her best, but still can't quite make it work. She's an outsider yearning to be brainwashed. I feel like this isn't addressed enough in media. There's plenty of stories like, I pretended to fit in until I finally came to terms with myself and won, and I was great and everyone liked me. But there's not always a legitimate, non-judgmental presentation of just desperately wanting normalcy despite yourself, to willingly stand in line for the lobotomy. There are no concrete answers given in this one, and I love that. No one is presented as either 100% right or 100% wrong, which puts the onus on the reader to decide or to just let it be what it is. I would definitely recommend this book to fans of literary fiction, but really, I'd recommend it to anyone who thinks they can handle a story with a relatively graphic, though non-gratuitous, description of child sexual abuse. There's so much to love about this story if you can get through it. Again, that's Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, available on Amazon. I was unable to really track down a personal website for her. There's a blurb about her on the publisher's website, but it's not really much, so look into her as you can. She's a Japanese author, has a couple other books. I know there's one called The Convenience Store Woman, which I guess has some of the same themes as this one, but it's a little less out there. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check out more of her work if I can as it gets translated. So I would definitely recommend this one. What do you think, Winston? Did you like Earthlings?
I give Earthlings by Sayaka Murata 7 stuffed hedgehogs.